your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
So much so that I had to ask around. I'm like, hey, I'm kind of a nice guy, right?
Hacker is an ass.
I try, as I'm getting into my old age at 39 years old, try not to let things bother me. Just know that I'm ultra soft.
And he doesn't shy away from opinions.
See Baker Mayfield throw 4 passes, but I get to see this homeless guy return a ball for a touchdown.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Oh, yeah. Week number 13. Week 13, are you kidding me? Of the National Football League gets underway in a matter of moments. Dallas and Seattle kick it off. Of course, Jacksonville and Cincinnati will end Week 13 on Monday Night Football. And with that, a very good Thursday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. We are glad you are with us. Dallas and Seattle, pretty good one in the NFC tonight. Of course, I got Dak Prescott. It's getting down to crunch time in fantasy football, ladies and gentlemen. It is getting serious in the 1010XL League, too, let me tell you. I got a huge one against Hopkins this week, and I got Dak Prescott as my quarterback tonight. I need some points. I need a reenactment of Thanksgiving Day by Dak Prescott, so we will certainly keep you updated as that game goes on. We got an absolutely loaded show, as you would expect this time of year. Former Jaguar Pro Bowl offensive tackle Leon Searcy will join us in less than 20 minutes. We'll talk a little Monday Night Football with Leon, talk about the Jaguars' 2-game winning streak heading in to Monday night. We will also go up to Cincinnati later on in the program. My guy up in Cincinnati, look, you do this long enough, you got guys in every NFL market. My guy up in Cincy is Jay Morrison. When it comes to the Bengals, he's the guy I have on. He's covered the Bengals for years. He's now with Pro Football Network and the PFN Bengals podcast. We'll get the Cincinnati side of this game from Jay Morrison coming up. And 5 area high school football teams are playing state semifinal games tomorrow night in their given classification. The game you will hear on 10:10 a.m. tomorrow night. The Bulls Bulldogs travel to Miami to play not just one of the best teams in the state. No, they play Miami Norland, who is one of the top, I believe, 15 teams in America. Tall ask for the Bulls Bulldogs, but Matthew Toblin, the head coach, Bulls is certainly not afraid of the challenge, and he will join us coming up later on this evening on Hacker After Dark. So as you can tell, we're loaded. We're glad you're with us. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal? What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
30 years. 30 years, man. It's a long time. I was 10 years old. I had just turned 10 years old. Still living in Tallahassee. Lived in Tallahassee until my mother got transferred over here with Barnett Bank when I was just before my 12th birthday. And the news came out that the city of Jacksonville was being awarded the 30th NFL franchise. Oh, man. Even though I was only 10 years old, even though I was, I think in 4th grade at the time, that was unbelievable. My dad had been a diehard, and I do mean diehard, Washington Redskin fan. They were still the Redskins back in 1993. And that's probably the direction I would have gone, truthfully. But then the Jaguars were born, and then I was all Jaguars all the time. I remember my mother put the initial season ticket deposit down on season tickets. We didn't know we were going to come to Jacksonville in a move because of her job. We were going to make the trip from Tallahassee to Jacksonville and back every Sunday. I mean, we were into it, man. We were pumped. Then the Jaguar Inside Report newsletter came out. I know you longtime Jaguar fans remember that one with Vic Ketchman of Jaguar Inside Report. I think I got a collection of those player posters that they sent in every edition of the Jaguar Inside Report. And it was awesome, man. It was great. And then the season got here, and I actually moved to Jacksonville in June of 95. It was crazy the way it worked out. Literally a month before the Hall of Fame game is when my mom got transferred from Tallahassee to Jacksonville. So as an 11-year-old boy, I moved to Jacksonville 35, 40 days before the Jaguars played their first ever game up in Canton, Ohio at the Hall of Fame game. And I've been hooked ever since, obviously. Been a diehard Jaguar fan. Got lucky enough to be an intern with Dempsey at 9:30. Then went over to the Toaster with Dempsey to join Tom McManus on the Rumble. And now here we are at 1010, the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we have been for the last decade. It has been a crazy ride. I'm the kind of guy that really doesn't remember Jacksonville prior to the Jaguars. I didn't live here prior to the Jaguars, and the only time I came over here was to visit family and then go home. So Jacksonville, to me, has always had the Jaguars. So I think every day or every year on November 30th, on this special day, we need to say a gigantic thank you to Wayne Weaver and Dolores Weaver, the Weaver family, for putting their hope and their resources in bringing a team here, Touchdown Jacksonville, and everything that encompassed. And obviously there have been down years, right? The team has been awful more times than it's been good, and I fully understand that. And I complain about them and did complain about them very passionately, as I'm sure you know. But I much rather complain about our awful football team, and some of these years have been awful, than not have a football team to complain about. November 30th is always a special day. September 3rd is always a special day. That was the first ever regular season game. Jaguars lost that game 10-3 to the Houston Oilers. Denmark, you know who sang the national anthem for the first ever Jaguar regular season game?
No idea.
Boys to Men was getting after it. Now, I know you're a youngster, but does Boys to Men do anything for you?
Negative.
Have you ever heard of Boys to Men?
I've heard of them. But
okay,
yeah.
I was about to say, if you haven't heard of them, my gracious sakes. I don't necessarily understand, I get why you would not know any of their music. But yeah, Boys to Men was out here getting after it. Jaguars lost that game 10-3, and it's been a ride ever since, man. 96 AFC Championship game, making the playoffs. 97, 98, 99. Then the bottom falling out. You don't get back in the playoffs till 05. You return to the playoffs in 07, and then the bottom really fell out. You don't sniff the playoffs again till 2017, and then we went through the awfulness of the last years of Doug Marrone, the rock bottom part of this franchise with Urban Meyer, and now we have climbed our way up on the shoulders of Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence and everything they have done to enable Jacksonville to get back to the forefront of the NFL. And it's fitting today is the 30-year birthday anniversary of the NFL announcing Jacksonville as its 30th team, as the Jaguars return to Monday Night Football for the first time in 12 years on Monday when Cincinnati rolls in. So happy birthday, Jaguar fans. Here's to 30 more years that are a lot more positive, a lot more wins than maybe what we've experienced in the last 3 decades. That's one of the big deals of the night. The other one is in the world of college football. Graham Mertz announced earlier this afternoon that he is indeed returning to the University of Florida for his final year of collegiate eligibility. That's good. Good. I'm happy about that. I had no problem with Graham Mertz for a large portion of the year. I know when Graham Mertz came to Gainesville, people were like, why? This guy stinks. Wisconsin didn't want him anymore. Well, whatever happened in Madison, Wisconsin, that's not my problem. That's not your problem. What I know is what Graham Mertz has done in Gainesville. And what Graham Mertz did in Gainesville was throw 20 touchdowns to, 3 picks? I mean, he was good. Now, his defense couldn't stop anybody. The defense couldn't stop Denmark and I on offense. So what he did is being overshadowed with the wins and the losses and the fact that, they lost a lot more than they won, obviously, with Mertz at quarterback. But at the end of the day, the Gators are better off now with Graham Mertz back in 2024 than they would be if he would have left. You still anticipate 5-star quarterback DJ Lagway coming in. That'll be a nice little bridge to have Graham Mertz there. Maybe you play Lagway sparingly. But there is absolutely no way that you could have had a true freshman in Lagway navigate that schedule next year for Florida. 11 Power 5 teams, including UCF, Miami, Florida State, Georgia, LSU, who else is on? Texas. Texas A&M, I believe, is on there. Ole Miss, I believe, is on there. It is a crazy schedule for the Gators. And the fact that Graham Mertz is back is certainly good news. Now to the teams that are actually playing for something still here in 2023. It begins tomorrow night, Pac-12 Championship, Washington and Oregon. We'll certainly keep you updated on that game during our show tomorrow evening. And then it goes in to Saturday with the Big Ten Championship, the ACC Championship, and, of course, the SEC Championship. And I guess don't forget Texas, right, in the Big 12 Championship. We will know by the end of Saturday night, more than likely, how the committee will look at things, and we will know the 4 playoff teams. The question is, can Florida State win another one with Tate Rodemaker? Can they beat Louisville, and will that be enough to get them into the playoff? I believe it should be enough. Will it be enough? We'll have to wait and see how everything else plays out across the country. But enjoy this Saturday, because after this Saturday, of course, next year with the 12-team playoff, Championship Saturday will not mean as much. We wouldn't have any chaos next year because Texas and Alabama and Georgia and Florida State and Oregon and Washington and Michigan and all these teams would already be in. They would already be in the playoff. They would be fighting for seeding, but they would be in. They're not necessarily in, all of them right now, which should make tomorrow night and into Saturday a lot of fun to watch if you are a college football fan. More on that in just a little bit. But let's get back to the Jaguars. Monday Night Football, Cincinnati rolls in. Leon Searcy played in 12 Monday Night Football games during his career, including some right here as a Jacksonville Jaguar. You hear him every day on primetime. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark, and he joins us next. It is a Thursday night in Jacksonville, Florida, with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Sometimes the most important position in sports needs a translator.
I'm Denny Thompson, and they call me the quarterback whisperer.
He shares his insights Friday mornings on The Drill. Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet.
Looking for the perfect stocking stuffer? How about the Blue Crab Crab House? Right now, buy a $50 gift card, you get $15 free. $50 gives you an additional $15. Also sign up. The private dining room is available for you. Call them 260-CRAB for all the details. Tuesday through Saturday, 4:30 to 9, Sunday noon to 9, only at the Blue Crab Crab House right off of San Jose, Jointon Creek Road.
Winter in Jacksonville is mild, but you still want your furnace or heat pump at its best.
Imagine a cold home when your heater isn't up to the task. Don't be left in the cold.
Call Duck Duck Air Conditioning, your go-to mechanical contractor for top-notch HVAC services across Northeast Florida.
Let us keep you warm and cozy. Contact Duck Duck Air Conditioning at 904-862-6769.
Duck Duck Air Conditioning, your comfort is our priority. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckac.com.
Whether you are looking for a job or an employer trying to hire, there's only one stop in Jacksonville, Remedy Staffing. Labor trends keep us guessing. As employers, the job market has been strong. So what does that mean for workers' availability? If you're interested in the workforce solutions or how the Remedy team can help you, call or text Crystal at 904-329-9802. 329-9802, Remedy Staffing.
The year is almost over. Do you need cash for the holidays or want to be credit card debt-free for the new year? Call Loan Pronto today. Their Express Equity line of credit can get you $20, $50, $100,000 in as little as 5 days. Listen, if you have a ton of equity in your house and Loan Pronto can help you turn that equity into cash, you can access up to 95% of your home's value. Use the money to pay off all your credit cards, pay off personal loans, or start that home improvement project. You can get the money you need now and still keep your primary mortgage intact. So your 3% rate, it's protected. And with Loan Pronto's Express Equity Line program, 90% of the time, there's no need for an appraisal. So you can get your money super fast. Get the holiday cash you need or pay off all those credit cards before the new year. Get yourself on solid financial footing before the year ends and call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal Housing Lender, NLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On November 30th, 1993, the National Football League awarded an NFL franchise to Jacksonville, becoming the Jaguars and NFL's 30th franchise.
It's a popular gift idea, perfect for your home or work environment. Mystic Cornhole Company builds custom, high-quality boards right here in Jax. Visit their shop on Parental Home Road or check out some designs at mysticcornholecompany.com.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Where is the Devil's Tower? The answer coming right up.
Having the right homeowner's policy protection means you're staying on top of your most valuable possession, your home. For information on finding an agent, go to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
Devil's Tower was designated as the first national monument here in the United States in 1875. It's located in Crook County, Wyoming.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
It's the biggest, brightest end of the year clearance sale at First Coast Lighting and Fans on Phillips Highway. Get 40 to 60% off display lighting, fans, and home decor to make room for new merchandise coming next year. Hurry in to the store today because quantities are limited and their best selections won't last long at 40 to 60% off clearance pricing. Upgrade your furnishings for the holidays with the biggest savings of the year at First Coast Lighting and Fans on Phillips Highway.
Hey, Matt Hayes here. Expert Automotive is now open at our brand new state-of-the-art facility on St. John's Bluff Road. As always, every repair comes with a lifetime service repair warranty. Come celebrate our grand reopening by getting a free AC inspection, $50 off any repair, $199 brake specials, and free diagnostics all month long. Call 374-3373 or visit us at our new location at 2190 St. John's Bluff Road. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
November is Men's Health Awareness Month, and Ackerman Urology is here for all your prostate and urological needs. Don't delay in getting screened. Call their new Beaches office on Atlantic Boulevard and see an expert today. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
And back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Bengals Monday night, as Monday Night Football returns to Jacksonville for the first time in 12 years. Let's talk to a man that knows all about Monday Night Football down here in Duval County. He played many years in the National Football League. You hear him every day on XL Primetime. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. My friend Leon Searcy. Leon, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good, bro.
Leon, all right, so 8-3. We've had a couple of days to digest that Texans game. Boy, what a game, what an ending, and what a win for the Jaguars last Sunday.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, the Jaguar team came out to play. It was a business trip. It was an opportunity to take advantage of the AFC, take advantage of the AFC South. You're playing a good young Texans team that's feeling themselves. You know, C.J. Strauss having an outstanding season. DeMarco Ryan is probably one of the leading candidates for Coach of the Year. You know, beginning of the season, you didn't think much about this team. You thought this team was going to struggle a little bit. You thought that and a lot of people thought that the Jaguars was going to be just going to cakewalk through the division. But I'm glad the Texans are good. I'm glad that the Texans are, you know, round the heels of the Jaguars, because it keeps the Jaguars in line. You know, keeps them focused, you know, because every game is a playoff game, essentially, when you got a team that's right behind you. So it was good to see the Jaguars come out this past Sunday on the road where they're 6-0. That just doesn't happen, Hack. I just want to let you know that right now. I've been in the league a long time, 11 years in the league. You just don't go 6-0 on the road. So to go 6-0, to beat a good Texan team by a field goal is a hell of an accomplishment.
You know, Leon, speak to that, because I know you brought that up on the fifth quarter. Now, technically, they're only given credit for 5 because I guess the Atlanta game at Wembley Stadium was a, quote, home game. But let's be real. They won 2 games in London. They've won games at Indianapolis. They won a game at New Orleans, at Pittsburgh, and at Houston. These are not easy places to win. I mean, New Orleans on a Thursday night, Indianapolis opening day, Pittsburgh in bad weather, and Houston when that crowd was unbelievably jacked and they're in the battle red, and yet Jacksonville's won every single one of them.
Well, Heck, you know, listen, I played the NFL for a long time. Essentially, when you go into a season and you look at the schedule, you say to yourself, you know what? Let's try to go undefeated at home. And then let's split the away games. If you go undefeated at home, essentially, and you split the away games, that's more than likely it's going to get you in the playoffs. The Jaguars have done the absolute reverse. Right now, they're undefeated on the road, and I think they're like 2-3 at home. So, I mean, it's a credit to, you know, them taking a business approach when they're on the road, because there's a lot of distractions out there. You know, family, going out here, going out there, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, the guys seem to be locked in on the road. You know, I think that camaraderie, I'm not sure how they deal with the home games. I think some of the guys are allowed to go home. You know, back in the day, we all stayed in hotels. There was a little bit more camaraderie. But on the road, you have no choice. On the road, you're in that hotel. You're amongst your teammates, you're watching film, you're game planning, all that kind of stuff. And the Jaguars just seem to be clicking on the road. You know, it's that us against the world mentality that they're taking. And essentially, you know, it's very refreshing to see.
Former Jaguar Pro Bowl offensive tackle Leon Searcy here with us on Hacker After Dark. Leon, you said it on the fifth quarter, the night of that loss. I think we all said it at some point. The Jaguars' season was going to go one of 2 ways after San Francisco destroyed them. They were going to learn and grow from it, or they were going to go into a tailspin. And you had 2 huge division games coming after that. And they have performed beautifully in wins over the Titans and the Texans. Kudos to the leadership, right, for not letting that San Francisco loss compound things.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, the sky was falling, you know. All wasn't well in Hoosville here in Jacksonville. Everybody was down on the Jaguars because, you know, they had another opportunity to showcase what they could do amongst the elites. The last opportunity, I would say, was against Kansas City, and they laid the egg. And the game against 49ers, they laid the egg. But that's a tribute, you know, them bouncing back. You know, I said there's one or two things that was going to happen. They're going to learn from it, or they're going to let it linger. It looks like they learned from it, and that's accredited to the coaching staff. The coaching staff after that 49er game had to, you know, grab the team by the, you know, the belt strap and say, hey, listen, this is not who we are. Because I've been in those film rooms. I played in the game when we lost 50-10 against the Vikings on the road. And the coaching staff had to pull us by the belt strap and say, listen, watch the film. We're going to make the corrections. We're going to be critical. You got to take this punishment, and then let's move on to the next game. And I think the coaching staff, is as much as the players, should be accredited for what they did, because now you watch this team. This team looks nothing like they did against the 49ers. So, I mean, that's accredited not only to the leadership in that locker room, but to that coaching staff by getting these guys rallying the troops, watching the film and saying to themselves, hey, listen, this is not who we are. Let's go out here and showcase what we really are. And I think for the last couple of weeks, the Jaguars have done that.
Leon, the win did not come without a price. Cam Robinson's going to be out for at least the next 4 games. He was put on the short-term IR with what appeared to be a knee issue. I guess it's a good thing it does not appear to be season-ending, so we'll see what happens. I guess he's eligible to come back December 31st against Carolina. In the meantime, Walker Little goes to left tackle, and Ezra Cleveland goes to left guard. I remember at the trade deadline, Leon, a lot of people were scratching their head. Why would the Jaguars, why would GM Trent Baalke bring in an O-lineman? Boy, it looks like a masterclass move right now.
It does. And, if I'm Walker Little, I'm like Dorothy clicking my heels. There's no place like home. He's a left tackle, all right? He's an absolute left tackle. And the experiment, putting him at left guard, he struggled the first game, but he played well the second game. And now he's at home at the left tackle position. And Ezra Cleveland, listen, the one thing that when I going through my notes, when they made the trade for him from Minnesota, is that he's nasty. He has a little mean streak about him, and I love that about any offensive lineman. And he has experience. He has 42 games at the left guard position. And I just feel comfortable, not only as a former player, but as a former coach, I just feel more comfortable with guys that have that experience at left guard. Walker Little was walking into a tailspin when he came in against those 49ers playing that left guard position because they had never played it before. Just because he's big and he's physical and athletic doesn't mean that he could play the position well. But then the next week he played okay. It's sad to hear about Cam. Cam was having a good season. He was solid at the left tackle position. And I've been in his situation before where you have these nagging injuries that just keep coming. And then when you hurt yourself again, things go in your mind like this might be it for you. The career is over. It's good that it wasn't season ending to where he can come back and maybe possibly play in the playoffs. So I'm happy for that. That it wasn't a season ending injury. It's just something that they just want to maintenance right now and then hopefully have him back for the playoffs. But I like what I saw in Walker Little and Ezra Cleveland in the time that they were together in the game against the Texans. They seem to be a good fit.
Couple of more for former Pro Bowl offensive tackle Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on XL Primetime. Leon, I want to get to Cincinnati in a moment. Before we get there, the last 2 games for Trevor Lawrence, over 620 yards passing. 6 total touchdowns, 3 through the air. He's actually rushed for 3 as well. Complete coincidence that the offense is flourishing now that Zay Jones is back? Jones doesn't put up great numbers, but it appears to me, Leon, that Jones's, presence out there is opening things up for Ridley, Kirk, and Ingram.
He does. He brings good energy. He absolutely. He's a deep threat. That ball. He was a toe tap away from catching an amazing ball off on the sideline. So he's a deep threat. And when you got Ridley on the other side, you don't know where to roll the coverage. You got to play man on either one or on one side or the other side of the field, which gives opportunities for other guys in the middle. Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk to catch balls in the middle, even Travis Etienne coming out the backfield. Some of those checkdowns. He's going to have those abilities to catch the ball in between the hashes. So, yeah, it's no surprise. Trevor's been having an outstanding 2 games as well. I think that 49er game probably had him reevaluate himself because, he played a terrible game. The whole team did, but him especially, holding on to the ball, not, always looking for that 3rd and 4th level throw instead of the 1st and 2nd level throw. Now that you see him in these last 2 weeks, he's going through his progression and he has time to make those 3rd and 4th level throws because offensive line has given him a lot of time as far as protection goes. So, and he's been deadly accurate. He's been deadly accurate with the ball. So, it's good to see Trevor. He's got a little momentum right now. He's got a lot of momentum right now. And I always say that after Thanksgiving, you need to be playing your best football because, down the stretch, that's where you're going to determine, what teams are contenders and what teams are pretenders.
Yeah, just to give some clarity on that, this was the week last year, the Sunday, the 10 days after Thanksgiving, the second Sunday after Thanksgiving that the Jaguars went in to Tennessee and won. So the winning streak for the Jaguars started this week last season. So they started playing their best last year. Hopefully that comes to fruition again this year. Quickly, Leon, Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, man. How good are they playing right now?
They're playing really good. They're playing really good. I mean, Josh Allen is tallying up the sacks, but Trayvon Walker's getting a lot of pressure. He's coming up the field. He's gotten better. Now the sack total may not say that, but I mean, if you watch him with the pressures and his get off and beating the offensive lineman off the ball, if you watch him on some of his twist games, I mean, he's getting around the corners and putting pressure on the quarterback. I mean, they're getting home a lot more frequently than they did early on in the season. And I don't know what it is or what they're eating or what they're drinking, but I hope they continue it because it's been very refreshing to see those two guys tally off on opposing offensive linemen.
Final moments here with Leon Searcy. Leon, Monday Night Football returns for the first time in 12 years. You played a ton of Monday Night Football games during your career. We heard Josh Allen in the postgame locker room on Sunday say, man, he's never played on Monday Night Football. Trevor's never. There's a lot of guys that have never played on Monday Night Football. What's that experience going to be like, and do you have to kind of control yourself so you don't make it too big come Monday?
No, I mean, it is a big deal. It's a big deal. I mean, I played 11 years in the league, and I played 12 Monday Night Footballs with the Steelers and the Jaguars. And I always loved it because you're center stage. Nobody else is on. I mean, you're the live performance. I mean, you're the Rolling Stones, and you got a bunch of Mick Jaggers. That's what it is. You're center stage, front and center, in front of all your family and friends. And I always wanted to perform well on Monday Night Football. So I mean, yeah, it's good to be excited about it. I mean, this is an opportunity the Jaguars hasn't been, over a decade, 12 years they haven't been in Monday Night Football.
Yeah, 2011 was the last time.
But because of the Jaguars' success, mainly from last year, the run they made and the win they had against the Chargers is why they're back on Monday Night Football, because essentially they are looking at this team as star-studded, and then Monday Night Football is giving them that opportunity to showcase their talents. So it's okay to get excited about it. You don't want to toot your horn too early. You just need to stay focused and realize, I'm not going to say it's just a game, because it's more than just a game, because it's Monday Night Football, because everybody's going to be watching. But if this Jaguars team continues down this road and the success that they're having, they're going to have a lot more Monday nights to come in the near future.
Leon, leave us with this. No Joe Burrow, but the Bengals still have a lot of talent, man. They're desperate. They got to win. They're 5-6. They're hanging on to playoff hopes by a thread. Jaguars got to be careful here, right? Not to overlook these guys.
No, you can't overlook them. They still have too much amazing talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, you've got Chase, you got Jamarcus Chase, you got T. Higgins, you got Mixon. They got a decent offensive line. Now, the quarterback's a backup, but, I'm sure that offensively they're going to put him in a position to where he's going to have success, and that may be a lot of play action, running the ball. I just think it's things that's going to play to his strengths. And what the Jaguars have to do is they have to get after him. They have to get after him early. They can't you don't want to make this a fourth quarter game. You don't want to give this team any hope. Right now, Joe Burrow is not in the lineup. And you essentially want to remind them of that, especially when it comes to the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball, because on the offensive side of the ball, you want to put up points quickly. I mean, if this team can go up 14 points, 17 points, 10 points early on in the first half and then play solid defense and, force them in a lot of 3-and-outs, I mean, I believe the Jaguars are going to get it done. Now, defensively, they're still solid. They've got some pass rushers against them. They got some pass rushers and get after the quarterback. So offensive line is going to have to be stellar and give Trevor the time to make those deep throws down the field. So, but I feel good about this game. And I believe the Jaguars will win.
Leon, leave us with this. We got 60 seconds. Your former teammate, Fred Taylor, once again made the cut to the semifinal list of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Boy, it's time to get him in the room with the final 15, right? I mean, I'm not going to proclaim that he's got to get in this year, but he's been in the last 25 now a couple of years, and he always fails to make it to the final 15. To me, that's ludicrous. He's definitely deserving to get in that room to get discussed this year.
Absolutely. And and I'm going to be biased because I played with the guy, and I know how devastating a runner he was, how electric he was on that football field. And all you got to do if you're one of the selectees, all you got to do is put on the film. Put on the film with Freddie T. Freddie, I mean, his jump cuts, his being able to outrun linebackers and safeties and corners and all that kind of stuff, man. It's just, I mean, his ability to run in between the tackles and get tough yardage. I mean, everything about him says Hall of Fame. You know, I mean, the knock on him is the one Pro Bowl. But you look at the market that we was in and all the running backs that he had to go up against. I mean, he didn't get the necessary attention that he rightfully deserved. But I mean, he's unquestionably a Hall of Famer in my book. I played with him. I remember the first time he came in his rookie year, and we had a scrimmage inside the stadium against our defense, and we ran the 36 zone, and he cut it back, and the linebacker, the safety in the corner had an angle on him, and he ran past him. And I remember looking at Boselli saying, "Oh my God, we got one."
That's awesome. That's great memories, and I hope finally he at least gets in the room, again, makes it to the cut to the final 15. Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowler for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You get him every day on Prime Time. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, appreciate it, my friend. We'll do it again next week.
You got it, bro.
There you go, Leon Searcy, always with us here on Hacker After Dark. And, yeah, I'm going to have Aaron Beasley on tomorrow night. I'm going to ask him the same question about Freddie T. He did make the list again. I think it's 3 or 4 years in a row now. He's in the semifinal list, the final 25. Now, what they do, again, is they recut it from 25 to 15. And those are the 15 that you discuss in the room and ultimately get to the class of 5 deserving Hall of Famers. I'm not saying for Fred Taylor to go from 25 to in the Pro Football Hall of Fame this year. But it's the same thing that happened with Boselli. You got to get in the room. You got to get to the 15. When you're a semifinalist 4 years in a row and you keep getting cut from the 25 to the 15, at some point you got to get in that room. And I think this year, at worst, Freddie T's got to get in that room to the final 15 list to be able to be discussed for his potential placement there and join Tony Boselli in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. We have a good old-fashioned shootout on our hands right now, Thursday Night Football. Dallas started with a field goal, then Geno Smith to DK Metcalf for a 73-yard touchdown. Seattle took a 7-3 lead, and Dallas just moments ago, Dak Prescott, fantasy points Denmark, to CeeDee Lamb. Dallas back up 10-7, about 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Again, both of these teams played on Thanksgiving. So they've had a full 7 days off, a full week. Probably a must-win for Seattle. They come in at 6-5, and their playoff hopes fading. If Dallas wants any chance at the division, they probably have to win out. They're 2 games back of Philadelphia, and they have one more game against Philadelphia. But it is a critical game for both teams, and we're off to a nice start. 5 minutes to go, quarter one. Dallas up 10-7. More in the NFL coming up in just a bit. We'll head to Cincinnati. My guy Jay Morrison, Pro Football Network, has covered the Bengals for years. We'll get the Cincinnati side of this matchup on Monday night. But coming up next, 24 hours from now on 10:10 a.m., you will hear a state semifinal in the world of high school football. The Bulls Bulldogs will travel all the way down to Miami to take on Miami Norland. Miami Norland, here's all you need to know about them. They have 6 defensive linemen, not 6 guys on their team, but 6 defensive linemen that have been offered by Power 5 programs. They are a top 15 team in America. It's a tall job for the Bulls Bulldogs, but that's why they play the games. Matthew Toblin, the head coach of Bulls, joins us next to preview that state semifinal. With Dylan Denmark, the hacker Ryan Green with you on a Thursday night in Jacksonville, Florida, right here on 1010XL and 92.7 FM.
1010XL says thank you for supporting the Tom Coughlin J Fund and helping families battle childhood cancer. The Radiothon raised over $268,000 and generous challenge matches by U.S. Assure, Florida Backyard, Pet Paradise, e-file.com, Dandy Foods, Bari Orthopedics, Small Cakes Cupcakery, Dreamfinders Homes, the Nimnick family of dealerships, and Window World of Northeast Florida played a big part in helping so many families.
Save big at Key Buick GMC up to $7,250 all new Buicks. Receive really low APR rates like 1.9% APR financing for 36 months, 4.1% for 48 or 60 months, 5.04% APR for up to 72 months, and enjoy no payments on all new Buicks for 120 days. As always, whenever you purchase a brand new vehicle from Key, whether it's a Buick or GMC, it comes with the lifetime powertrain warranty. Across the street from Tinseltown, Southside and Gate.
Hi, I can help whoever's next.
Cooper's Overnight Shipping Company has to deliver the goods.
Ship these gifts to your grandkids.
They need a logistics manager to keep the wheels turning.
126 packages going to Toronto, Tuscaloosa, Montreal, and Minneapolis. Oh boy.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Brackish Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is the smoothest local vodka you can find. Made right here in Jacksonville, Florida, 100% from corn, Brackish Vodka is the local gluten-free choice. Brackish Vodka, for those that live life slightly salty, a proud partner of the Jaguars. Next time you want to live life slightly salty in Bartram, head over to Hurricanes Grill and Wings and enjoy Brackish Vodka with your favorite wings.
I'm Taylor Dahl on your Gator Station. 1010XL is your pipeline to Gator Nation. Listen for the Gator Report all year round.
Brought to you by Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts. On the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go Gators! Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Mia here, and let me tell you about one of our area's best resorts, the Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa. The Sawgrass Marriott is not only a great destination for a vacation, but it is also a great destination for dining on the Florida's first coast. 1912 Ocean Bar and Rooftop is now open on Ponte Vedra Boulevard, featuring Ponte Vedra's only oceanfront rooftop bar and lounge. Serving finely crafted cocktails and delectable eats, it's open daily from 4 to 10 with complimentary valet parking.
Hacker here, and look, football season is in full swing, and no game day setup is complete without the Sausage Dude sausage. I'm a sausage guy, and the Sausage Dude sausage is the best sausage I've ever had. Try their 4 terrific flavors, including Polish, Hungarian, beer bratwurst with jalapeno, and my personal favorite, the Italian, today by picking them up at any Publix in the Jacksonville area. Football and sausage, it's a winning combination. Go get the Sausage Dude sausage at any Publix in the Jacksonville area right now.
When it comes to a new roof, you want the golden standard. Can't afford the cost of replacing your roof without financing? Don't worry, we have special financing with up to 30-year terms. As long as you're not in an active bankruptcy, current with your property taxes and mortgage, not in a reverse mortgage, no liens or judgments, and no foreclosure, we should be able to get you funded. No hard credit check required.
Golden Hammer Roofing and Gutters.
Golden Hammer!
The golden standard in roofing.
Atlantic Self Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home, or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving, they can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at Jaguars.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase to enter or win must be 18 or older and a legal resident of Florida or Georgia. Promotion period 9/5/23 through 12/15/23. For official rules and complete details, visit Jaguars.com. Sponsored by Jacksonville Jaguars, LLC.
Looking for quality equipment and a name you can trust? Lepo Rents, Bobcat of Jacksonville, is your premier construction equipment dealer and rental house. We have the right equipment for the job, offering the big and small tools needed for your next project. Lepo sells and rents track loaders, excavators, boom lifts, and much more. For your next project, remember Lepo Rents, your authorized Bobcat dealer in Jacksonville. Visit them online at leporents.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The state Final Four for all the given classifications in the Florida High School Football Playoffs is this Friday night. We have 5 teams remaining in Northeast Florida, including one that you hear every night on Friday nights here on 1010XL, the Bulls Bulldogs. They are on another state semifinal as they will head to Miami to take on Norland. With that, Matthew Toblin of Bulls here with us on 1010XL. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well. We got a tall task in front of us, but we're excited for the opportunity.
Coach, what a year it's been. 0-3 seems like a lifetime ago. From 0-3 to now a state Final Four. Just talk about the journey that 2023 has been for your football team.
Well, and I think, I'm extremely proud of our kids for how they handled the adversity, but also I think that, our kids are smart enough to understand kind of who we are, what our goals are, and what we're trying to do as we go throughout the regular season. And yeah, I mean, we dropped those first 3 games of the season, but like the first 4 opponents, they're all still playing. We opened the season 1-3, and every single one of those teams is in the Final Four, and that's our goal, to play Final Four quality opponents as much as we can, so that we're ready when we walk into a game in December against the 12th or whatever best team in the country, in Miami Norland, and that it's not a shock. Like, we've seen teams like this before. We've seen not quite like this, but we've seen teams of similar caliber.
Coach, let's rewind back last week. That Bishop Moore team in Orlando, they were a thorn in the side of Jacksonville. They beat Bishop Kenny in the regular season. They knocked out Ed White. They came up here and beat a good Riverside team. I mean, that was a good team that you played on Friday. And man alive, you guys jumped on them really early and didn't let them off the mat.
No, we did. And our kids came, really, really, really prepared. And I think, that's, styles make fights, and that their plan to win games is to out execute, not physical people. And that's kind of our plan to win. And that when a team comes with that plan, we feel like those are games we should be able to jump on people, and that we came out really well on offense and defense. And then obviously DJ made some big throws, and our receivers getting up some catches. They tried to load the box and make us throw it around. And this year, like, we were able to do that, and so it was big by everybody.
Matt Toblin of Bulls, state Final Four coming up Friday night. You'll hear it on 1010XL. All right, Coach, the 5 teams remaining before we get to your game in particular. What does that say about Northeast Florida? You, Trinity, Mandarin, Bradford, and St. Aug all still alive and playing in a state Final Four in your classification. Speaks to the volume, right, of talent in Northeast Florida.
No, the ball up here is really, really, really good. And that as you kind of expand out to different areas, you really get to see that. I think when we start playing those Orlando area teams, we start playing some of the Panhandle teams. Like, and it's not just the 5 that are left. I mean, Bartram going on the road and beating 2 Panhandle teams. I think the quality of ball, the quality of coaching up here has really grown over the last couple of years, and that it's exciting to watch.
Coach, long bus rides you're accustomed to at Bulls this time of year. You guys are certainly not strangers to this, but what are the challenges about making a 5.5-hour, 6-hour drive down to Miami on Friday?
So, and I think it's breaking it up and managing it, but you're right. I mean, we've made some trips That's part of what we do. It's part of our preparation. So, we feel like we do a pretty good job. And so we'll leave early in the morning. And when we get out there, we'll break it up. We'll stop. We'll move around. We'll try to do a walkthrough at somebody else's place. And so we'll probably stop 3 times along the way and get there early, get the bus right off of us, and try to move around and just eat healthy and take care of our bodies. And so I think, obviously it's a huge advantage to be able to play at home and not have to make that trip. But we've done it enough, trips up to Georgia, trips down to Tampa, where we feel prepared for it.
Coach, let's talk about Miami-Norwin. Obviously, you know they're good. You know they're highly ranked nationally. What makes them the team that they are?
So, I think there are times where we play teams from down in Miami that have a lot of talent, but they kind of they don't play super hard, and it gives us a chance to stick around. That is not this team. That this is a violent team that is out to prove something. That they do a really good job. And I think a huge part of that is like, look, last year they went 9-3. The year before that, they were 500. And they've got a lot of kids in that program and the coaching staff that are super, super hungry. But they have ways of talent. They play 4 down linemen and they have on defense, and they have 6 of them with BCS offers. So they're subbing in BCS quality linemen that are fighting to get playing time. And that, it'll be a tall task, but I think that's the goal of every team, is to get into a game that you're not supposed to win and say, like, look, whatever, like, let's see what happens. And that we're good enough where if we can go out and execute and make it a game and try to hang close, then we give ourselves a chance. But they are talented, they are well coached, and they are a violent group.
Final moments here with Matt Toblin. I remember a time, Coach, where there was a Ponte Vedra football team that was playing a team called Plantation American Heritage. They had 2 starting corners named Tyson Campbell and Pat Surtain, and they had countless other BCS guys on their front lines of scrimmage. And Ponte Vedra darn near beat that team. I think it was like 33-31, and one was a great state championship game. You were the coach of that Ponte Vedra team. So obviously games like this you have experience in, and it doesn't scare you to play a team like this.
No, scare is not the right word, and it's we're gonna use it as a challenge. Like there's no fear. Like this is an awesome opportunity, and it's gonna be awesome. We look back, and I think that American Heritage game, like we're still frustrated that we ran out of time and couldn't find a way to win it. But 4 years later, when 5 of those kids are drafted in the first round in the draft, like American Heritage has more first round draft picks than any college team in that draft. It's awesome, and this is going to be one of those teams that we're going to look back and we're going to be like this. That collection of talent and the opportunity for us to go toe to toe, and then we'll see what happens. That we have a saying: respect all, fear none, and we have a lot of respect for what they do. But we're going to go out and we're going to play ball, and that we're going to challenge and we're going to go for it, and we're going to do everything we can to win the game.
Coach, leave us with this. What are the keys to victory on Friday night? What needs to happen for you guys to be playing for a state title next week?
That we have to play within ourselves. I think that when you get into games like this, like our best players have to understand they don't need to do something like outlandish. They don't need to try to they don't need to try to do something outside of what they're supposed to do. That we just need to play extremely well, execute, and I'll be honest, and the ball needs to bounce our way. Like we're going to have to get some breaks. And that if we do that and we hang around, and as the game goes on, like they're supposed to kill us. And that, if you hang around late, hopefully emotions and stress starts to be a factor. But they are a really, really good football team, and we're going to have to play really well and have the ball bounce our way a couple times. But again, it's the kind of game you want to be in. Like you want to be in a game against a team like this that really no one's going to give you a chance to beat, and see if you can fight your way out of it and make something happen.
Bowls, Miami-Norwin on Friday night in Miami. You'll hear it on 1010XL. The winner will be playing for a state championship there in the 2M classification. Matt Toblin of Bowls. Coach, best of luck. Go down there, get a W. We hope we're talking to you next week.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Nothing came easy, and he wouldn't have it any other way.
It's blue-collar line of scrimmage football. I'm Tom McManus, and I join Jaguars Today Fridays from 10 to noon.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
Salvatore's Pizza coming to Jacksonville. Salvatores.com.
Visionaries, builders, and doers, are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
The Army-Navy Game Watch Party is presented by the City of Jacksonville Military Affairs and Veterans Department. Watch on the world's largest screens with a kids zone and free admission or donation. Gates open at 2 for the Army-Navy Game Watch Party at Everbank Stadium.
Hey gang, Prosser here. Sometimes we have partners at the radio station that are trying to get their message out, and sometimes it hits my ears just perfectly. And that's the deal with this Prize Picks. Have you tried this daily fantasy sports yet? It's so cool. It's so different. You pick between 2 and 6 players. They have a projected stat total, simple as pie. You just got to pick whether they go over or under that statistical projection. It is cool, man. I've been doing it almost every day. You can play NFL, you can play NBA, you can play Major League Baseball. You can go any way that you want. And it's so easy to be a part of. And right now, I'm going to give you a good deal. Go to prizepicks.com/1010XL and use code 1010XL. You'll get a first deposit match of up to $100. prizepicks.com/1010XL. Use code 1010XL for a first deposit match of up to $100. This is daily fantasy sports done different. You're gonna love it. Take it from me. Go to prizepicks.com today.
Hi, Jags fans. Walker Little here for my friends at Kingfish Pest Control. Playing offensive line in the NFL, I must block and protect on every down. When it comes to keeping my home pest-free, I expect that same level of protection. So I contacted Kingfish after seeing thousands of positive online customer reviews about their service. I can confirm from personal experience, bugs don't stand a chance getting past Kingfish Pest Control. Do what I did. Reach out to Kingfish Pest Control to protect your home, a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you about ready to deck the halls for the holidays, but your home is cluttered with unwanted junk? Don't let the mess dampen your holiday spirit. Call J-Dog Junk Removal. And it's not just about cleaning up your space, it's about making a positive impact. You deserve a clutter-free home to celebrate in style. They're on a mission to make your holidays brighter and your home junk-free. Call now at 844-GET-JDOG or enter your zip code at jdog.com. J-Dog Junk Removal. Veteran-owned, veteran-operated.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From roll and lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
John, I'm so glad I called Clearwater to get my sprinklers, yard drainage, and seamless gutters in tip-top shape.
Thanks, Frank. It's great to see you so relaxed here at the house, away from the microphone.
Yeah, John, just hanging.
All right, well, let me go ahead and turn the sprinklers on and show you how everything works.
Wow, look at that coverage. How good is that?
All right, Frank, let's go!
Clearwater Irrigation
And drainage to
ClearwaterJacks.com.
You can't have exceptional water quality without the hefty price. With Kanaya Water Systems, a premium, high-quality water and filtration system that won't leave your wallet taking an L. Search KENAI Water, Jacksonville.
At Beaches Jewelry and Pawn, layaway is always an option. Times are tough for some, so anything you need or want from surfboards to tools to high-end jewelry, layaway is always an option at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Online at beachesjewelryandpawn.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Halftime here on Hacker After Dark. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock tonight. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. At the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour, you realize we're at the quarter pole of the NBA season already? That's hard to believe. Most teams are at the 18, 19 game mark, so we're basically at the quarter pole of the year. Brian Toporek of Bleacher Report and Forbes. He's one of our guys when it comes to the NBA. Look, the in-season tournament was a major success. I don't particularly care for it. I guess it can grow on me, but 8 teams advanced to next week's quarterfinal. Again, the winning team, I think it's $500,000, which is nice. And obviously the NBA looking to stir up some interest early in their year before a lot of sports fans start flocking over to them after Christmas Day. So by all indications, it's been a success, and I'm along for the ride, whatever. So we'll talk to Brian about that. And I want to talk to him about the Orlando Magic, man. 13-5, our friends down in Central Florida. 8-game winning streak, 1 game shy of the longest winning streak in franchise history. I talked a little bit about this on Monday, the parallels between the Jaguars and the Magic. 2 teams that, quite frankly, have been awful for the better part of a decade plus. 2 teams that are separated by 120 miles. 2 teams, despite being awful, that have had passionate, loyal fan bases. As passionate as we are here in Jacksonville, that arena has been full in Orlando despite losing season after losing season. And now all of a sudden here in 2023, both teams are getting up off the mat. They're no longer a punching bag with Jacksonville, with Trevor Lawrence and ETN and the young nucleus here. Orlando with Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner and the young nucleus there. So a lot of parallels between the Magic and the Jaguars. We'll talk with Brian Toporek about all of that from Bleacher Report and Forbes. That comes up at the bottom of the hour. Coming up in less than 10 minutes, my guy Jay Morrison, Pro Football Network, covering the Cincinnati Bengals. He's covered the Bengals for years. We'll get the Cincinnati side of this matchup on Monday evening. Quickly, Denmark. Tomorrow night, we're going to be on during all the state semifinal games. The 5 teams that are left. Mandarin is on the road. Trinity is on the road. Bowles is on the road. The 2 games locally, St. Augustine is at home. Bradford out in Stark is at home. How many of our 5 advance to a state final next week?
It's tough to say because I haven't, I don't know all the teams well that they're playing, but I would say it would be success if 3 of the teams, 3 of the 5 win tomorrow.
I think if 3 win, it's an overwhelming success. I think if none of them win, it's a fail. I think if 1 of them win, it's a disappointment. I'm expecting 2 of the 5 to advance. Anything 3 or more, it's a great night in Northeast Florida. Look, Bowles is playing a team that's ranked in the top 15 in the country. All right, that's the reality of the situation. That's going to be a very tough game. Mandarin's got to make a 4.5-hour drive to Calvin Ridley's alma mater. Odds are that's going to be tough. Trinity's got to go to Clearwater. That's not an easy drive.
They're always good.
Bradford gets Pensacola Catholic, a good team, but I expect Bradford might have the best chance of winning of anybody. And then I don't know much about Fort Myers Dunbar, only they're always in the playoffs. And they're the team that plays St. Augustine tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I mean, remember last year, no teams in our area made the state title game, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, if any of them make it, it'd be good, and hopefully one of them can bring it home.
Touchdown for the Dallas Cowboys. Another touchdown pass by Dak Prescott. Dallas 17-7 over Seattle. 11:37 to go in the second quarter. Coming up next, let's go to Cincinnati. My man Jay Morrison's covered the Bengals for years. He's with Pro Football Network. What about Jake Browning? What's T. Higgins' status? How is Cincinnati looking at this game on Monday night, traveling to Jacksonville, they're very aware this is the first Monday Night Football game in 12 years here in Duval County. And what about the Taylor Bowl, right? Press Taylor, the offensive coordinator in Jacksonville, playing his brother, Zach Taylor, the head football coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. A lot of things to discuss. We'll go to Cincinnati. We'll talk to Jay Morrison next on a Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark.
It's high school football playoff play-by-play.
Bowl State Championship chase continues Friday in Miami. It's the Bulldogs and Norland. Catch every play starting at 7:15 on 1010 a.m.
Looking for the perfect stocking stuffer? How about the Blue Crab Crab House? Right now, buy a $50 gift card, you get $15 free. $50 gives you an additional $15. Also sign up. The private dining room is available for you. Call them 260-CRAB for all the details. Tuesday through Saturday, 4:30 to 9, Sunday noon to 9, only at the Blue Crab Crab House right off of San Jose, Joington Creek Road.
Hey, babes, the toilet is running.
Really? Oh, where's it going?
Well, Mr. Funny Man, it's going to our water bill, increasing our monthly costs, which are already sky high. Not to mention the absolute waste of water.
Yeah, okay then. I'll call Duck Duck Rooter.
Toilet running? Clogged drain or leaky faucet? We have your solution. Duck Duck Rooter, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
904-862-6769. Why can't I just speak to an actual human being? I need a new bank.
Well, actually, at One-to-One Financial, communication is not only number one, it's one-to-one. When you call, you get to talk to a real live Jacksonville human, fast and with someone who's truly concerned about your needs, your security, and finding solutions as a team.
Thank you.
Ready to break up with your bank? Find a real long-term banking relationship at One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Visit one-to-one-fcu.org for more information on opening an account today.
Federally insured by NCUA.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On November 30th, 1993, the National Football League awarded an NFL franchise to Jacksonville, becoming the Jaguars and NFL's 30th franchise.
So I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $30,000 a year and right now graduate making over $80,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition and no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted into the program, your only costs are the books and the course fees, around $700 a year.
Wow, that sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 23rd.
Are you tired of having a plain and boring backyard? Really want to impress your family and friends this year? Then stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway. Imagine hosting guests at your new outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new pergola. Stone Core can also remodel your old pool deck and beautiful new pavers. Make your backyard wishes a reality. Visit Stone Core on Phillips Highway and let's get started at stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
The YMCA provides after-school care programs for kindergartners through middle school at over 40 sites across the First Coast. Our programs focus on safety, health, social, and emotional growth and academic enhancement. At the Y, your child can build self-reliance, get help with schoolwork, explore new talents, and develop healthy relationships with others, all in a safe, nurturing environment. Plus, financial assistance is available. Learn more at fcymca.org.
Atlantic Self Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
With tens of thousands of satisfied patients across America, it's no surprise QC Kinetics gets 5-star reviews.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I can recommend them highly.
I would recommend QC to anybody.
QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
Real people with real lasting relief from joint pain.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me.
It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
This non-surgical approach is definitely the future.
I tell as many people as possible. I am an ambassador. I love QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. No drugs, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Bengals, Monday night, first time Monday Night Football will be here in Duval County in 12 years, if you can believe that. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL as the Jaguars come in at 8-3, and a very desperate Cincinnati Bengal football team will come in at 5-6. With that, our guy up in Cincinnati is Jay Morrison. You can catch him at Pro Football Network, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Jay, how you doing?
Doing great. I wish I was in Jacksonville right now. It's in the 20s today in Cincinnati.
Well, we're having a cold front here, Jay. It's about 55 in Jacksonville.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so it's chilly for us here even. All right, it's been very chilly for Cincinnati. They were my Super Bowl pick coming into the year, Jay, and it didn't get off to a great start. You thought they righted the ship, and then wham, the Joe Burrow injury. Just take us through the emotions in Baltimore a couple of weeks ago of what that did to this team and that franchise.
Yeah, it was pretty deflating, and not just for their chances, but Burrow's so well respected and liked in that locker room, and it was obvious how devastating this is to him. So people feel for him, but then they also feel for what their own lost opportunity. I mean, it's pretty clear at this point that the playoff hopes are on life support. And it's a position this team hasn't been in a long time. There are guys in this locker room that were around in the lean years, and they've been used to this. But so many of these people they've drafted in recent years and the free agents they've signed, it's kind of new territory for them. So they're kind of trying to sort it out and figuring out how they fight through this and try to stay together and make something of the rest of the season.
Admittedly, this is not a fair comment or question, I guess, but it's the narrative out there. I mean, is there a concern in Cincy that as great as Joe Burrow is, he's a guy that's going to get injured on you?
Yeah, I mean, you have to wonder about that, but it's so there's so many of the injuries he's had. Everybody points at all the hits and the sacks he's taken, but you're talking about a calf injury that was non-contact in training camp. You're talking about an appendix. There's just been so many fluky things that happened. And even the wrist, it was just a case where Jadeveon Clowney landed right on the wrist after taking him down. I think that's always going to be part of the narrative is he taking too much punishment? But the nature of some of these injuries, I mean, obviously the ACL was the product of a bad offensive line and him getting hit his rookie year. But since then, it's just, I don't know, maybe more of I don't believe in jinxes, but it does feel kind of more of like a guy that's just jinxed as opposed to injury prone or just beat up over and over again.
Jay Morrison is our guy up in Cincinnati. He covers the Bengals for Pro Football Network, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Jay, the show goes on, and it goes on with Jake Browning. Remember him from Washington. He was a very good college quarterback. He started last week against Pittsburgh. Statistically, it wasn't terrible, yet they didn't put a lot of points on the board. How would you assess his start last week?
Yeah, I mean, talk about being thrown into the fire. He has to play the second half at Baltimore, and then his first career start is against Pittsburgh. That's two of the best defenses in the league, and Jacksonville's right up there too. So it doesn't get any easier. But he that loss was not on Jake Browning, and I say that where the key play in that game that led to the loss was on Jake Browning. He made a really bad. He locked in on a pre-snap read and made a really bad interception in the red zone. And if he doesn't make that throw, well, I think we're talking the narrative's different this week. You're talking about them maybe pulling out a win and still having a little bit of hope. But that loss, Jake Browning, they weren't able to lean on some of the things he does best. He's really good getting out of the pocket, making throws on the run, taking off and running. They just were not going to run quarterback draws with him, and even the naked bootlegs is a big part of what they like to do with him. And you're just not going to do that with T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith sitting out there on the edge waiting for those kind of things. So they were a little limited in what they could do. I think you'll see them open it up a little bit more against Jacksonville. And Zach Taylor, the head coach, he was more pleased with what Jake Browning did than critical, just based on that one interception. He played pretty well. He handled things pretty well. Just a tough assignment against a really good Pittsburgh defense.
Jay, what kind of player is Browning? For the Jaguar fans listening that maybe didn't stay up and watch Pac-12 after dark like I did all those Saturday nights, I mean, what kind of guy are they going to see for the quarterback for the Bengals on Monday night?
Yeah, supremely confident. He knows this offense inside and out. They are not dumbing down the playbook for him at all. He's been on the practice squad the last 2 seasons. He beat out Trevor Siemian for the backup job this year. So he's not quite the same quarterback he was in Washington, because he saw the writing on the wall. He came in the league and he called it a life sentence on the practice squad. And last year he was on the verge of reaching out to coaches and thinking about getting into coaching. He decided to give it one more year. He got with Joe Burrow's throwing coach and Jordan Palmer and really worked on mechanics and arm strength. And he throws the ball better now. He's got more velocity. He's not anywhere close to Joe Burrow. Don't mistake that. But he is a really, I don't know if you want to say elusive. He moves in the pocket really well. Joe Burrow kind of had that feel where you could kind of slide and move. Jake Browning is on the run. He is getting away from people and tucking it and taking off and running. He had 40 yards alone in that second half at Baltimore on scrambles. So he's a guy that the other thing that you should note is in that Baltimore game, Jake Browning averaged 10.6 yards per attempt, or air yards per attempt. Joe Burrow had never done that in any game since coming into the NFL, even in 2021 when they were throwing all those bombs to Jamar Chase. So he's not afraid to air it out. He's not afraid to take chances, and it could be good and bad. It's a high risk, high reward kind of process to go through with a young quarterback like that. But they are not going to turtle up and just kind of lean on the run and try to survive this game. They're going to try to attack the Jaguars with Jake Brown.
Jaguars and the Bengals Monday night here in Jacksonville. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. Jay Morrison, Pro Football Network, covers Cincinnati. He's with us here on 1010XL. All right, you mentioned the skill talent around Browning. I've been cautioning Jaguar fans all week, Jay, about Jake Browning and the Bengals coming in here. They are a desperate football team at 5-6, right?
Yeah.
And they have a lot of talent, man, with Jamar Chase and Boyd and Mixon. I don't think we know Higgins' status yet, although maybe he's trending towards playing on Monday night. But with all that talent, and if Browning can just be functional with the ball, boy, the Jaguars, to me, are going to have to be awfully careful here.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I do think that there's a good chance we see T. Higgins, and then you're talking about him having his full complement of weapons, and that offense is different when T's not in there. Teams already throw a lot of coverage at Jamar. It's even more so when T. Higgins isn't playing, and you see this all the time when backups come in. He's got a really good connection with Trenton Irwin, who will be one of those receivers that's on the field a lot if T doesn't play. He's got a really good connection with Tanner Hudson, the tight end, from their days on the practice squad. So the pass game will not be the issue. It's a matter of they can get this run game going. They had a really good plan against Baltimore, and Joe Mixon ran the ball really well. Last week against Pittsburgh, 8 carries for 16 yards. As a team, 11 carries for 25 yards, with Browning having 3 scrambles. only once in franchise history, and this franchise started in 1968, have the Bengals had fewer rushing attempts than they did last week against the Steelers. If they know they messed up, they're gonna try to make the run game part of Jake Browning's, make it a good friend of Jake Browning, because you can't just let him drop back and throw over and over again against a quality defense like Jacksonville.
Bengal defense is very good with Hendrickson. Do we know Hubbard's status for Monday night yet?
Yeah, he's good. He played last week and went the whole game, so he's good to go.
I mean, you got Hendrickson, you got Hubbard, you got really good players, Logan Wilson as well, obviously. But a lot's on that plate now for that Cincy defense, knowing they're going to have to pick up their offense.
Yeah, and this is an uncharacteristic year for this defense. I mean, Lou Anarumo, the defense coordinator, doesn't like playing rookies, and his hand's been forced. The second round pick DJ Turner started 7 straight games at cornerback. Rookie third round pick Jordan Battle made his first career start last week. They've been kind of forced into this after losing Von Bell and Jesse Bates in free agency, and it's showing up in the form of explosive plays. This team is still really good in the red zone when the field gets tight, and they find ways to get stops down there and get a lot of turnovers in the red zone. We saw it where they knocked the ball out from Jaylen Warren last week against Pittsburgh. But in the middle of the field, they are really susceptible to big runs on cutbacks and big shots either up the middle of the field to tight ends, or even when they've been playing a lot more press coverage, and those young corners, they make splash plays, but they get beat from time to time too.
Final moments, Jay Morrison, Pro Football Network, covering the Cincinnati Bengals. As far as what Cincinnati opinion on Jacksonville is, Jay, your colleagues up there, obviously the game is still a couple of days away. The Jaguars coming off that big win over Houston. I mean, how are the Jaguars viewed coming into this game on Monday night?
If you ask me, I think they look a lot like last year's Bengals team. Last year's Bengals team kind of got off to they had the success coming off the Super Bowl, and then they stumbled a little bit. They were 5-4, got their butts kicked on the road in the middle of the season at Cleveland, and then didn't lose again. And you look at this Jacksonville team, they had a surprising loss to Houston early. They got their butts kicked in San Francisco, and now it looks like they found themselves, and they're playing really well. And I could see this Jacksonville team going on a similar run and really kind of taking off. I think everybody kind of felt it last year. They were kind of a sleeper pick to go really deep this year after the success they had. And Trevor Lawrence is only getting better, and they put some weapons around him. Calvin Ridley's playing terrific. So, yeah, this is you can't look at history. This is one of the best teams in the AFC, and I think they're only going to get better as we get closer to the playoffs.
Look, 75% of that Cincinnati roster, Jay, as you alluded to, have played in humongous games, primetime games, playoff games. Jake Browning hasn't started one of these, and you mentioned the young guys in the secondary. I can tell you, it's the first Monday Night Football game in 12 years here in Jacksonville. You got to go back to 2011 till the last time the Jaguars run Monday night. Everbank Stadium is going to be an insane asylum. How do you believe Jake Browning will be able to respond to that, at least early on in the game?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too big for him, because if you remember the game that Burrow got hurt where he came in at halftime, that was a primetime game at Baltimore. That was about as difficult of an environment as you could get. You look at the team as a whole. You want to talk about history in primetime? The Bengals they've lost 15 straight games, 15 straight road games in primetime. The last time they won one was 2012 on a Thursday night in Philadelphia.
Wow, I had no idea. That's crazy.
It's almost unbelievable. It happened again. That was the big talking point going into the Baltimore game, is when are they going to win one of these games in primetime? And then Burrow gets hurt, and that becomes the overriding story. But here we are 2 weeks later, back on the road. They're playing in primetime, trying to break an incredible streak.
All right, Jay, give yourself a little bit of love. Pro Football Network, you do a terrific job covering the Bengals. I know you got a Bengals podcast there at PFN as well.
Yeah, the PFN Bengals podcast. We just recorded this week's episode today. It comes out on Tuesdays in audio form. It's on YouTube on Wednesdays. And, maybe Jaguar fans aren't too interested in the Bengals on weeks that they're not playing the Bengals, but over at Pro Football Network, we have all kinds of betting content, all kinds of fantasy content, every team covered. So there's a lot there, and it's all free. and would love to have anybody check it out.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Pro Football Network. We have Dalton Miller on quite a bit. They're really expanding there at PFN. Jay Morrison is a big part of that, covering the Cincinnati Bengals. Jay, I know you're busy, man. Thank you as always for the time, and I guess we'll see you down here on Monday night.
Sounds great. Thanks, Ryan.
The goal of the game is to score more points.
And he's in for the score!
And there's usually someone who helps make that happen.
Oh, baby, what a catch!
Listen for the Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game on 1010XL.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Jason Parker, CEO of Performance Painting here. It's gift-giving season, so why not give yourself, your tenants, employees, or family members a gift that makes them smile for years? A freshly painted commercial building or home exterior can do just that. No matter who you hire to paint, make sure they walk you through their top coat application process. That should include back rolling, back brushing to lengthen the life of your paint job and ensure the finish is consistent. Learn more at performancepaintingjacks.com or call today at 849-2499.
Performance Painting!
Golfers, when's the last time you played Cimarron? New ownership, improved greens, fairways, and tee boxes, a new clubhouse, interior, exterior, including the Stone and Barrel Tap House, indoor-outdoor bar, live music. Practice, learn, and play program is only $59 a month. Unlimited range balls, weekly clinic from teaching professionals. Golf every day, $25 after 2 o'clock. Whether you scratch or just like getting out with your buddies, you have to try the new Cimarron Golf Club on 210.
This is your Mad Dads Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. Mad Dads is asking for good, committed men who want to be part of an organization that has been around for 17 years. We are a group that is part of the solution, not the problem. We are a group that don't stand around murmuring and complaining, but get into action and hit the streets to get the community to break the code of silence to remove the murderers off our streets. We do not require a lot of time, just willing and able bodies to get involved. We've had far too many murders this year already not to get involved. If you want to be part of this great organization, call 904-718-1649. We're looking for men, not men acting like boys. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. For information about Mad Dad, go to Mad Dad's Jacksonville Chapter Facebook or MadDadsJacksonville.com.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
He thinks he knows what he's talking about.
Of course.
Find out if he does.
Is there anything else we need to know?
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Franchi Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Hey, Matt Hayes here. Expert Automotive is now open at our brand new state-of-the-art facility on St. John's Bluff Road. As always, every repair comes with a lifetime service repair warranty. Come celebrate our grand reopening by getting a free AC inspection, $50 off any repair, $199 brake specials, and free diagnostics all month long. Call 374-3373 or visit us at our new location at 2190 St. John's Bluff Road. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
Frank Franzi here for Stanley Pools. There's a reason so many of my friends and our listeners have had Stanley Pools build their pools and now maintain their pools because Stanley Pools truly cares about their customers. Stanley Pools is locally owned and has been serving our community for 35 years. For all of your pool needs, call Stanley Pools at 269-7277. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools. 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com.
Hey folks, Dave Binion here with Zero Res. At Zero Res, we love rugs. We will treat your fine oriental rugs with the tender and loving care they deserve. Gerard, the Zero Res rug manager, is one of the few certified master rug cleaners in Florida. If you want your rugs cleaned with tender loving care, call Zero Res. Right now, get your rugs washed and we will give you 25% off. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Men suffering from ED or PE, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center. For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. You'll even get a gift that enhances performance in the bedroom. Call 904-664-8217.
David here with Royal Pest Services. The cool down is coming, and with that comes the pesky rodent. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a complimentary roof and attic inspection to check for access points and any evidence of previous activity. Now offering military and first responder discounts.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. You know, don't look now, but we're about to hit the quarter point of the NBA season. Most teams are approaching the 20-game mark as Christmas Day approaches. That's when a lot of people will get into the NBA. But me, I'm a diehard, man. I've been here since Halloween. And you see what the Orlando Magic are doing just to the south of us. Wow, 12-5, their best start in over a decade. Let's talk about all of it with my friend Brian Teport. He does a great job covering the NBA for both Bleacher Report and Forbes, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Brian, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Brian, we're good, man. Thank you for the time. You and I have talked for a couple of years now, and I'm always – sulking about my Orlando Magic and things aren't going our way and when will they ever turn the corner. Brian, it's only been, 17, 18 games. I mean, I get it, but good grief. You could argue they're the biggest surprise in the league right now.
Yeah, they're certainly up there. And, I've been hinting that this was coming. I've been urging patience from Magic fans because you could see the foundation there in place, especially last year. They got off to such a slow start, but we're really pretty good for the last 50 games of the season. And now, because they have so many young players, you can realistically bank on internal improvement, especially from, a guy like Paolo Banchero, who was really, really good as a rookie, started a little slow this season, but has certainly got his feet under him in recent weeks. The same goes for Franz Wagner. And, the scary thing is that they've only had Wendell Carter Jr. for 5 games this year, who, going into the season, you probably would have said is their third best player. So the fact they're off to this incredible start, despite not having him, it only begs the question, what happens when he comes back?
Yeah, you got that, and Markelle Fultz hasn't played in the last 10 or so games. So both Fultz and Carter have missed an awful lot of time. You talk about Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. And again, I'm not going to try to homer up here. I'm going to try to take my blue glasses off, my Orlando Magic goggles off for a second. But you talk about two guys on the same team, both 24 years or younger. Man, Paolo and Franz got to be one of the best duos in the league if you talk about the young players in this game.
Yeah, they're certainly up there. And you would expect that from Paolo, being that he's the number 1 overall pick. But, Franz has already cemented himself as one of the biggest steals from that draft. Chicago Bulls fans in particular are lamenting the fact that they could have both Wagner and Carter Jr. still on their team. Those two guys just fit so well together, and it kind of fits into the archetype that the Orlando front office, dating back to their time in Milwaukee, they tend to go for. These long, lanky athletes who can also defend well and be somewhat interchangeable. So now having those two paired with Jalen Suggs, who, especially after his rookie season, I know there was some concern that he wasn't going to quite live up to the draft day hype. This year, we're finally seeing, this is why this kid was a top 5 pick too, because he's such a good defender and he's starting to find his own offensively as well. So, you mentioned Fultz being out. And of course, Markelle Fultz is a great player. When he comes back, the Magic should only be better. But I think one silver lining of his absence is that Suggs has moved into the starting point guard role and has really flourished. And I think that actually raises some interesting questions for Orlando moving forward.
Brian Topork, Bleacher Report, and Forbes covering the NBA. He's with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Orlando has two guys that if they're on your team, you love them, and if they're not on your team, you hate them. And that's Cole Anthony and Mo Wagner. Both guys right now would be in the running for sixth man of the year. Mo Wagner signed a 10-day contract in Orlando 2 years ago. Nobody wanted him. He was on the street. Nobody wanted him. And I don't know if it's the chemistry with he and his brother and how that's working out for him. But Mo Wagner might be one of the best backup big men in the entire league right now.
Yeah, he's been awesome. And Cole Anthony, I mean, you nailed it. Should be right in that sixth man of the year conversation. He's been really good as well. And they got him back on a pretty reasonable contract heading into the season. So I think the Magic are in really good shape, both short and long term. And, now they're in the somewhat dangerous part of what I would say is the typical rebuilding timeline is, first you have to get your star guys or one or two star guys, which I think they've achieved with Paolo and Franz. And now it's trying to figure out how to build best around them and how to capitalize on all of the assets they've accumulated. And, right now, Franz and Paolo are both on rookie contracts. The Magic are also projected to have a ton of cap space this summer if they want to go that route. So they'll have a lot of flexibility. But now the big thing, continue to evaluate what they have on this roster and where their biggest needs are moving forward, and then how to fill those gaps within the next year or two while they still have all these other guys under contract, could still use them as salary filler in trades. And before Franz and Paolo get off of these rookie contracts, probably sign either max or near max contracts, and a lot of that flexibility starts to dry up.
Last thought on Orlando, because I want to branch out around the league in the time we have left with you, but I remember a time when Dwight Howard got injured in Orlando, and there was a guy that came in named Marcin Gortat, and nobody had any idea who this guy was. But he turned out to be a pretty good player, and he went on to have a very good career. Now, I'm not saying Wendell Carter Jr. is Dwight Howard, although if he ever stays healthy, he might be. But Wendell Carter Jr. gets hurt, and this guy, Goga Batadze, comes in, all right? And I had not a clue who this guy was before the Magic signed him last year. Is Goga Batadze the new Marcin Gortat? I mean, when Carter comes back, that's going to be a pretty nice 1-2 combo.
Yeah, he's been probably one of the biggest surprises of the summer, or really of the season, because I think you're right. Absolutely no one had real expectations for him. He never really got a chance. And, he was buried behind Miles Turner and Sabonis in Indiana, so he just never really had a chance to show what he could do. And, Orlando took a flyer on him because he was a first-round pick not that long ago, a mid-first-round pick, and he's flourishing in this system. So that's been really cool to see. And again, it just kind of goes to show that Orlando's got the pieces in place right now to be pretty interesting. Now it's just figure out how to continue building on this.
Look, if you're a Laker fan or a Celtics fan or whatever, 17 games, 18 games means nothing, Brian. I'm on cloud 9 right now. I don't know if you can tell. 12-5 is insane based on where this team has been for the better part of the last 15 years. And there's a lot of excitement, not only in Central Florida, but kind of up here in Jacksonville for this team as well.
Yeah, there absolutely should be. I think it's fair to say Orlando has a very bright future ahead, and I'm certainly intrigued to see, what their next big move is, because it feels like, whoever the next big star on the market, they've got to be kind of choosy, right? Like, they can't just go after whoever it is. Like, let's say a Pascal Siakam, or we know Zach LaVine of the Bulls is open to being moved. The Bulls are open to moving him. You could argue that Zach LaVine would make sense for Orlando, but you could also argue that maybe they need to keep their powder dry and have their eye on an even bigger target, whoever that might be.
Let's branch out to the rest of the league in the time we have left. Again, Brian Topork of Bleacher Report here with us on 1010XL. The offseason moves, right? We really haven't seen Phoenix with Brad Beal because they've had so many injury problems. We've seen Boston, right, with Porzingis and Holiday, and they've looked good. Harden, that does not appear to be working with the Clippers. No real, idea why they thought that would work. What's been your thought about the big Damian Lillard, I guess, in Milwaukee? How would you assess the new guys in these new places so far?
Yeah, I mean, Boston's been awesome. I think they've been the best team in the NBA so far. They're certainly right there with Denver as the biggest threats to win this year. Milwaukee's 12-5, so on the surface, everything seems fine. They haven't looked as cohesive yet as I would have expected. I know they've had some defensive issues in particular, which you would expect when you go from Drew Holiday, one of the best on-ball defenders in the league, to Damian Lillard, who is certainly not that. They're fourth in points per game, sixth in offensive rating. So again, like, everything seems fine on paper, but they haven't. The Dame-Giannis combo hasn't been as seamless of a fit as I expected. So that's just something I'm keeping my eye on, especially with Chris Middleton. He recently left the game with some Achilles soreness. He's only averaging less than 20 minutes per game this year and had some health issues throughout last season as well. So if Middleton is not, a 30, 35 minute per game player and looks like himself by the playoffs, I think Milwaukee is probably one piece short when it comes to, matching up with a Boston or a Denver or a Phoenix. As you said, Phoenix, we can't really evaluate because we just haven't seen the big three together. But then again, this was the concern with pairing Bradley Beal, especially with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, is that all three of those guys have missed time in recent years, Beal in particular. So hopefully we get to see them at full strength. But since Booker has come back, they haven't really missed a step. And yeah, I mean, let me tell you, when I woke up this morning, I did not expect to see the Clippers at full strength, having lost to the Denver Nuggets last night without Jokic, Jamal Murray, or Aaron Gordon. But man, that is, I haven't watched the game, so I don't know exactly what happened there. I saw Reggie Jackson and DeAndre Jordan had huge games, which is just hilarious in the year 2023. But yeah, I think it's fair to say the Harden acquisition is not panning out for the Clippers as quite intended. And as someone who covers the Sixers, I am just kicking back and enjoying watching the train wreck unfold.
All right, well, let's talk about the first 20 games. Let's go Western Conference first. All right, the quarter pole of the year. It's a sample size, but we're getting there, right? We're 25% of the way home, roughly. Top three teams in the West right now.
Yeah, I mean, Denver, I think, has to be up there. Jamal Murray's missed most of the season at this point, but it sounds like he'll be back pretty soon. I think, again, Phoenix, you just want to bank on the top-end talent if they can all get healthy at some point. Minnesota has looked really good so far. They're atop of the West at 12-4. Rudy Gobert looks revitalized. Anthony Edwards is just continuing to build on this superstar turn that we've seen from him over the last year. And Karl Anthony Towns started slow, but has really seemed to find his way in recent weeks. So I think there are some concerns about their viability in the playoffs, but I think they're certainly a very good regular season team, if nothing else. And I would put the Sacramento Kings. I know they're sixth right now in the standings, but De'Aaron Fox missed some time, which caused them to get off to a slow start. Since Fox came back, I mean, he has been absolutely sensational, building on the breakout campaign he had last year. So I would put them as my sneaky dark horse in the top three, top four mix.
Brian Toporek, Bleacher Report, and Forbes. Same question in the East. I think clearly Boston is one. Who are their two or three biggest challengers right now?
Yeah, Boston's definitely one. I mean, Philly has been surprisingly good, just handed LeBron James his worst ever loss last night, apparently. The upgrade from Doc Rivers to Nick Nurse, I think, went kind of under the radar this offseason just because they were dealing with the Harden nonsense this whole summer. But he has just totally changed the way they play. I mean, Joel Embiid is averaging by far a career high number of assists. Tyrese Maxey has really thrived as the full-time ball handler, which he, got to do briefly a couple of years ago while Ben Simmons was holding out, but he is off and running with that opportunity. And honestly, the depth that they got in the Harden trade, specifically Nick Batum and Robert Covington, like the Sixers have just not had forwards or wings all that often in recent years. So it's weird to see them they now have like too many, which means, they might have a consolidation trade up their sleeve in the coming months as well, because I think they're probably trying to use the expiring contract of Marcus Morris in particular to pursue an upgrade with the assets they got in the Harden trade. So that's something to keep an eye on. Now, I think by default, Milwaukee is in there, but that is a very shaky. I think Miami, they got off to a slow start as well, and they've lost the last couple of games because, Bam missed, Jimmy missed a game. So I think especially we've seen it in the past few years, no matter what their record is going into the playoffs, if they are in the playoffs, you just can't rule them out. And, I think the fun thing about this season is that really in both conferences, but, the East, we have Orlando and Indiana, these young teams that have been in kind of rebuilding mode over the last couple of years. We're starting to see the rebuilds actualize, and now they are, they're no longer these guys are on our schedule, this should be an easy 15-point win. Like, they are legitimate challenges every night, and we're seeing it with OKC in particular in the West, and Houston as well in the West. So I would encourage anyone who has not been watching the NBA so far, it's off to an awesome start this year. I know it's usually Christmas time is when casual fans start to check in, but I would encourage you, if nothing else, watch some Pacers games over the next few weeks, because they are might be the most fun team in the NBA. They run at a super high pace, have a ton of 3-point shooters, and don't play a lick of defense, which leads to just these wild shootout games every night.
Yeah, the Magic beat them. Magic were like 45 in that game, and Indiana started drilling threes in the second half, and all of a sudden it got down to like 10. I'm like, what's going on? All right, we got 60 seconds, Brian. The tournament. We're about to get into the quarterfinals within the next couple of days. How has it been received around the league?
Players seem to like it. I mean, who wouldn't like a chance at an extra $500,000? And it seems to be motivating them. I know the point differential aspect seems to be the most controversial part, because there's the unspoken rules of when a game's over, don't score with 30 seconds left. But for the tournament, point differential matters. That's the tiebreaker to get the wild card. So it's been a fun wrinkle to see teams violate that unspoken rule to pad their point differential. But otherwise, I think this is subjective. This is not objective, but subjectively, it seems like teams are giving a little more effort for these in-season tournament games. Because again, why wouldn't you want a trip to Vegas and a chance at $500,000?
I hated the courts at the beginning. They've even grown on me a little bit. I don't hate them as much as I used to a couple of weeks ago, but it's been fun. It's a wrinkle. We'll see what happens. I didn't think I'd like the play-in situation for the playoffs. That's kind of grown on me, so I imagine the tournament will grow on me. The NBA seems to be good at doing things like that, no doubt. Brian Toporek is very good at his job, Bleacher Report and Forbes. That's why we have him on covering the NBA for us here on 1010XL. Brian, appreciate it, my friend. We'll do it again in a couple of weeks. Thanks for your time as always, bud.
Sounds good. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Now, today's takeaways, brought to you by Key Buick GMC, where our family dealership has been helping families buy vehicles for over 50 years.
And thank you to my friend Brian Toporek, Bleacher Report and Forbes, covering the National Basketball Association, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. My big takeaway of the evening, I guess it's just who I am. It's my human nature to think, all right, could this be the week the Jaguars fall flat? Could this be the week the Jaguars have a, quote, letdown against a team they should beat? But as I was driving in tonight, I got to thinking, okay, it's your first Monday Night Football game in 12 years. You got to go back to 2011 since the Jaguars were at home for Monday Night Football. You're playing against a quarterback making his first NFL start on the road in Jake Browning. You're playing against a secondary in Cincinnati that's been very, very susceptible to long gains, big plays by opposing offenses. And I'm thinking, all right, they can't have a letdown in this game. If they have a letdown in this game, then this is not the team we believe them to be. You're playing a backup quarterback. It's going to be a crazy environment. First time on Monday Night Football in 12 years. You're playing awesome right now after 2 great division wins. Go out there and win the football game. And I'll give my final prediction probably tomorrow, but I'm certainly leaning Jacksonville. And quite frankly, I'm leaning Jacksonville kind of in a big way. Would this game be different if Joe Burrow was playing? Of course. But there's nothing wrong with taking a gift from the football gods every once in a while. And Joe Burrow unfortunately got hurt. He had surgery. It was successful. He looks to make a full recovery and be back next year. And odds are the Jaguars may see Cincinnati at some point next year. But for the here and now, you're playing a backup in Jake Browning. Take that gift from the football gods. Take advantage of it. And go out there and get to 9-3 and let the home crowd celebrate your first home game, 12 years worth, on Monday Night Football. Well, that'll just about do it for what has been a very busy Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Thank you guys for hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. Now, tomorrow night, we're back. Friday, Hacker After Dark is back. You'll have Bowls football on the AM, but we will be back on 92.5 FM as the high school season, for the most part, has run its course, and we're happy to be back with you, Hacker After Dark style, on Friday evening. We have a ton of people to thank tonight. Again, Brian Toporek covering the NBA for both Bleacher Report and Forbes. I mentioned Bowls. They play Miami-Norland tomorrow night, one of the best teams in the country, quite frankly. Thank you to their head football coach, Matthew Toblin, for joining us tonight. Thank you to Jay Morrison up in Cincinnati, Pro Football Network, covering the Cincinnati Bengals. He's my guy up in Cincinnati. Look, I've done this long enough. I got guys in every market. Jay Morrison's my guy when it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals, and appreciated his perspective, the Cincinnati perspective, on this matchup Monday night. And my buddy Leon Searcy back in hour number 1. You hear him every day on Prime Time. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. One of the best to ever do it in a Jaguar uniform, and we certainly thank Leon for taking time out for us this evening. As I said, we'll do it all over again tomorrow, beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the Hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Thursday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark, on 1010XL, and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Thursday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night to close out the week on a Friday, beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.